Hi there YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So, we're doing a bit of a different video. I didn't expect to pick this item up, but then I was like, what the heck, I've collected the wood version of this. I like collecting special edition Thomas engines. Why not pick him up? So, we're going to be looking at the TrackMaster diecast slash push along original James. Let's take a look. So this is the TrackMaster Push Along Original James. He's been released this year. He doesn't have the 75th anniversary sticker, so I don't think he's explicitly being marketed as a special edition for the anniversary, but obviously to me it's quite obvious that he is because, the adventure begins where it all started and everything was connected to that. So I think that's nice to see. If you turn around, we can see some of the other engines. As you would know, I've already reviewed the Rebecca on my channel, and this is very similar now. They all use the same wheelbase. So that's what the top looks, the bottom looks like. Yep, boring, boring, boring. Let's get him open. All right, so you can see here the metal engine James, and yes, he is metal, but you can definitely feel the difference between the metal in the engine versus the all plastic tender. The weight is quite substantial. Let's do just a quick spin around. All right, so you can see here again. So I said on Rebecca the new proportions of these didn't look too bad, but I think on James, as with Thomas, yeah, these look really bad from the front. The wheels are just way too far apart. It just looks super awkward. I think from other angles, they don't look awful, but yeah, they really just don't. The scale on these has constantly been weird. Ertles had a weird scale. Take Along had a weird scale. Take and Play had a weird scale. Adventures, the different magnets, all had weird scales, but I think this is definitely the weirdest, just because they're Thomas woodified everything, essentially, which just means everything is the same size, regardless of whether it makes sense. So yeah, I think James definitely suffers from this, because you can just see how wide his wheels are. Just really doesn't match up, because James is quite a slender engine. So I think it does look pretty awkward. Again, no painted buffer detail, but that's what you expect. I think the face is good though, which is nice. Come around to the side. Again, all above here is nice. It's not super duper intensely detailed, but I think it's the right amount of detail. You've just got everything you need. It would be nice to have a whistle somewhere there. We can see it printed on, but it'd be nice if those were 3D, but they're not. And we actually get the blue on the cab here, which is interesting. Because then the back is just black. So I think it's an interesting detail for them to put on. I don't necessarily think it's a good one, but points for trying. But again, the wheelbase here is just ridiculous. Like, yes, James has 3 driving wheels, but they're so far apart. Rebecca has the same wheels as him. Even Emily now, if we pull this up, has the same wheels. Like, they've just really Thomas woodified everything, and I really don't like that. As you would know in my Thomas Wood reviews, I don't like the way they've made everything the same size. I don't like the way they've made everything the same size for TrackMaster. It's just lazy, and it's classic Mattel. You can see we get James written on the bottom here. Interesting that it doesn't say original James, it just says James. So yeah, whoops. That's pretty much all we can talk about for the engine. In terms of the tender, again, I think the tender actually looks less dumb, having the big wide wheels. Again, no buffer detailing on there. And again, weirdly, like, the buffers are on this side, which make no sense. Like, they should be the other way around. I'm like, is my one just backwards? I can't remember from my Rebecca video if I also had this problem. I think they're all like that. By looking on the pictures on the box art, they're meant to be like that. So, like, what the heck are you doing, Mattel? Like, you don't need buffers on the back of it. It should be here. Like, just spin this piece around. Like, it looks like it's symmetrical. I reckon you could probably spin it around if they didn't, like, bolt them together the way they do. So, again, just, like, so many weird decisions have been made. That said, though, it's a nice tender. It's the right color with the right detailing. It just says James on there. It doesn't say James's tender. Yeah. When we couple them together, the actual scale of them, like, together is actually not that bad. I have gotten used to the tenders being a weird size. In all the ranges, the tenders have always been a weird size. Like, too small, too big, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the actual difference in size with the tender doesn't bug me too much. But yeah, the difference in the width, like, look how wide it is. Like, that width really does look, I think, from a lot of angles, quite funky. I think this angle looks all right. Straight on looks weird. And then again, the problem is when you're coming from the side, his wheels just seem way too far apart, which I don't like. So as a comparison, I'm going to reach down here and grab out the Diamond Anniversary Thomas, which I think is quite a nice model, but again, suffers from those, like, weirdness of TrackMaster 2. Again, like, it is better that there's a size difference. Like, I'm glad they did a size difference, which they didn't do in Thomas Wood, so that all the tender engines are bigger than all the tank engines. But still, it's just weird. It's just weird, isn't it? Yep, it's very weird. So you can kind of get an idea of that sizing there. No, it's just weird. All right, so now time to talk about the price. These large in inverted commas, tender engines for the TrackMaster 2 push along retail anywhere from about $7 to $9. I think $9 in Australia is kind of the recommended retail price. I know currently I've seen them on special for $7 in some places. I personally paid $12 for this one because I bought it from an independent toy store. And the reason for that, it's actually quite weird, is like Australian toy is weird. As some of you may have realized, but the major retails suck at their websites. Like, they just are awful because it's all random. So you can't pick a specific engine. It'll just say large TrackMaster push along assorted. And then if you order it, you can buy it online, but it'll say like random assortment. So you can't actually order specific engines. And that goes the same for, I know, as a Transformers collector, Transformers, they will just say like deluxe size Transformers movie. And it will just be any of them from any wave, any character. Like, you can't get specific characters, which is quite frustrating. Whereas some of the independent toy retailers, not all of them, some of them are similar. They do like a random pick, but some of them actually let you pick. And the ones that let you actually pick the individual engines you want tend to be the ones which are a little bit more expensive. So I guess that's what the price you pay for that is, that it's a bit more expensive. But yeah, so $12 for James, but it did mean I could pick him and get him shipped to my door because this particular toy store, 22 Toys, is in Victoria. Yeah, so for the price, I think, yeah, for $9, I think these are a decent amount of toy. You know, for a comparison, you know, this is $15 worth of toy right here. But on the same website, so if we do apples to apples, this costs $12 and this costs $23, I think, dollars from the same small retailer. So, you know, it's almost double, which I think probably makes sense. You're getting twice the amount of size, and also it's got a motor and all that kind of stuff. So I think that is actually not craziness. But normally, yeah, you would be paying like $9.15, which again is almost double. So yeah, I think that's a correct price for these. I think if you can get them for cheaper, that's really good. In terms of me, I'm glad to have this James in my collection because it's a special edition. But yes, the changes they've made to TrackMaster Push Along suck. I do not like them. Like, it's good that they run on the same track now, so you can play with them together. It means parents and aunties and uncles and family members can buy Thomas stuff for their children. Not that they can find it on the shelves because there's nothing on any of the shelves anywhere, without having to worry about them. Oh no, do they have TrackMaster? Which one is that? I can't remember. Like, it's actually good in that sense that it makes it easier, but I just think they could have done something better with the proportions to try and make that work a bit better. Like, potentially it would have been made more sense to introduce like a middle, get rid of the rails on TrackMaster 2 and just have it like, you know, so you could use different width engines on there, would have been better. But anyway, yeah, that's that one. I think what's the last thing to note is there's a lot of TrackMaster stuff for the 70th anniversary. We've got mini stuff for the anniversary, but we don't have anything in Thomas Wood for the 75th anniversary that I've seen yet. So I don't know what's going on there, because Thomas Wood is meant to be like the premier Thomas line, and it's kind of disappeared. So if you know anything more about that, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. So we've got time for This is XtremeTrainz.